Hello, we are again in this video in which we are going to explain what a digital nomad is. We are with Mr. Antonio again, and for those of you who don't know him, he has been an expert since 1987 and has experience in immigration issues and also has his own office. Today we are going to discuss what a digital nomad is. Mr. Antonio, how are you?
Very good.
We are here again to explain to everyone and to clear up any doubts about what a digital nomad is. Who can be a digital nomad here in Spain?
A digital nomad can be any professional or entrepreneur who can work remotely from anywhere in the world. Even entrepreneurs who have their businesses outside their country of residency, professionals, entrepreneurs, anyone who can always work remotely.
Regarding a digital nomad, lately we have been talking about the speed in which it is solved within 20 days. But tell me, if there are more advantages, the duration of the residency, more advantages for this type of residency.
A digital nomad has many advantages,
Apart from the fact that it is resolved in less than 20 days.
the first residency they give us is for 3 years, a 2-year renewal, and then a permanent residency.
Let us also bear in mind that there is another very important issue. We do not have to be reliant on with the appointments at the consulates, nor of the very
Exhaustive criteria that the consulates have when it comes to granting
a residency for Spain, the national visa, the body that manages it, which is called the UGE.
it is a totally independent body
Made up of professionals who are highly qualified in immigration issues, civil servants, and they are always going to help to be flexible with the applications.
quite the opposite of the criteria that, unfortunately, the consulates have nowadays. So,
There is no waiting time.
everything is online, it is done from our office with the authorization we have.
There is no appointment. Flexibility in the approval, less than 20 days for the approval. 3 years of residency, then a 2-year renewal, and then a permanent residency. And flexibility with the criteria for approval. So, it's ideal at the moment.
Okay, they say that this residency is very easy. Are there any difficulties with this type of residency? Well, there are a lot of applications that are not accepted for processing, or that require documentation, or that are not approved, as far as I know, by other professional colleagues. Why is that? Because although the body that approves it is flexible, you have to know Spanish legislation very well with regard to the company regulations, tax regulations, but at the same time, you also have to know how other countries work with regard to their own regulations, with regard to their own legislation.
Because these regulations, this legislation, must be transposed into Spanish legislation.
Let me explain a very common case. Spain requires a minimum of 3 months as a self-employed person in the country of residency. In most countries, a manager who owns at least 50% or more than 50%, or is the sole shareholder of a company, is usually an employee, so we have to transfer this characteristic of this person who is an employee to Spanish legislation. Why? Because here in Spain, our legislation states that when someone owns 50% of a company and is the manager, they are not an employee. They are self-employed.
If you own 50% or more than 50% of a company, if you are an employee in one country, you are transferred to Spain as a self-employed person.
This is an example in which it is necessary to transfer our legislation to the legislation of other countries. Translations,
You have to know how to translate the documents correctly, so that the official who is going to review them
knows which document would correspond to which one here in Spain. If it is well presented, it will be 100% approved in a few days, and if not, of course, it will have many difficulties even in the new approval of the file. What I mean by this is that there is a good flexibility on the part of the organization, but then the office, the professional who is going to process it, has to be very well prepared in this sense, to know all these documents from all these countries,
this legislation,
the Spanish legislation with regard to taxation and company matters, in order to be able to present it.
Perfect. I think you have solved our doubts, and I hope you, the clients, will contact us if you have any more doubts or questions, because we are ready to answer everything. Subscribe to our newsletter, to our YouTube channel, to all our Facebook channels. We have 4 in each language, and we are here to solve all your doubts. Thank you very much.
Very well. And regards to all of you.